And good afternoon. It's episode 54 of Thursdays with Charlie, 27th of May, 2021. We are moving along nicely. I want to say thanks to everybody who came out to support our first show at the Garza Center. John Rodolini, the magician, performing in plain sight. We had about 130 people in attendance. It was a really nice afternoon, and believe me, it's the first of many, many shows to come. I'll tell you a little bit more about those shows later on in the show today. And thanks everybody for the wonderful wishes on my 47th anniversary as a priest this past Tuesday. We had a nice crowd at the 8 o'clock Mass in the morning and a lot of nice greetings and well wishes, and I really appreciate it. I have to tell you that, 47 years has gone by so very, very quickly. And Sheila sang one of my favorite songs, Pass It On, at the Mass this morning. It was one of the songs that was done at my first Mass 47 years ago, and it still chokes me up a little when I hear it. It's such a beautiful, beautiful piece. I want to mention, we've received letters. You get a lot of letters as a church, and some are good and some are not so good. Some are meaningless, some are meaningful. But every now and then you get a really beautiful letter that's heartfelt, and it comes at a really nice time. And we got a letter this past week from one of our visitors, and I had it made enlarged so that I can actually read it to you, but it was beautifully sent to us, and it reads, "To the parishioners of St. John the Baptist, I wanted to take the time to write and thank you for making me feel so welcome on May 9th, 2021 at the 8 a.m. Mass. It was absolutely wonderful to join you for Mass and raise prayers to the Lord amongst your company. You have a beautiful parish and parish community. I do hope if any of you ever find yourselves in southeast Michigan, that you will come and join us at St. Margaret of Scotland for the Sunday Mass. Blessings and best wishes to you all, Joseph W. Krolikowski from Fraser, Michigan." That was such a nice letter to get, and to know that he had such a warm and welcoming time at our 8 o'clock Mass on Sunday morning, the 9th of May. I actually know, and I guess we all know, that we're a friendly and outgoing parish. We make people feel so welcome here. But it's really nice to sit back and actually see it, that somebody else has noticed it and felt it. And now we have an invite to Fraser, Michigan, if we should ever go out there and enjoy his parish community. But we thank him very much, Joseph, for sending that really, really nice letter. I wanted to go over some coming events. We really intend to use the Garza Center for our parish as much as we can and provide some really quality entertainment as well as other uplifting things for our parishioners and neighbors and friends. In the coming weeks, I'm going to come out with a schedule for the whole summer because it seems that most of the casinos are not planning live entertainment until after Labor Day. There are one or two exceptions during the summer, but it looks like for most of the summer we have the chance to be the only show in town, and I really want to take advantage of that. So I've been looking at some movies to do some movie nights, and I thought of some fun ones that I like, but if you have any suggestions, kind of talk to me or let me know when I see you at church over the coming weekends. I thought of 1776. That's a wonderful musical tribute to our nation's history, and with the 4th of July coming up, I thought that might be a fun one for us to view together. And of course that brought to mind, well, what about going back even farther and doing something like Yankee Doodle Dandy with James Cagney? I found out that it has 40 incredible songs in it, and I think that might be a fun evening or afternoon for us to watch. Well, of course, that brought me back even farther, and I said, what about we go back to Bing Crosby and things like Going My Way and the Bells of St. Mary's? We could have some fun with that. And the Bells of St. Mary's reminded me, well, what about things like Nonsense? Maybe we could view that. So those are my thoughts. We'll probably see some of them this summer. But if you have any ideas on movies, just please let me know. I think movie nights could be a fun thing to do. I've contacted a couple of my friends who are magicians or ventriloquists to see if they'd be interested in coming and doing a show for us here in Laughlin. I'm waiting for word back on some of them, and probably there'll be at least one or two other magic shows over the summer. Then, of course, I love comedy, too, and so I've contacted a few comedians that I know. Andrew Norelli out in San Diego, who's been here 2 or 3 times already. Kayvon, kind of an internet sensation. He advertises himself as the most patriotic half-Persian comedian in the world. And then I don't know if you've ever seen him, but Justin McKinney does some really funny comedy on the internet. And there's a guy by the name of Shane Smith, who's also a friend of mine, who has a unique brand, again, of very clean comedy. And then I found a person I don't really know that well, but I've been in touch with for a long time, and that's Brad Stein, who bills himself as God's comic. So I've been speaking with all of those people. And so far, I have to tell you, we have 2 shows lined up. You might want to set your calendars for this. On Sunday, the 13th of June, that's only a couple of weeks away, Sunday afternoon, 13th of June at 4 p.m. in the Garza Center, we have Andrew Norelli bringing his brand of wonderful comedy all the way from Southern California to join us here and do a show for us. So those tickets will go on sale not this weekend, but next weekend, and that'll be for Andrew Norelli, 4 p.m. at the Garza Center on the 13th of June. I know. And then that will be followed by Kayvon, an internet sensation, the most patriotic half-Persian comedian, and he will be performing on July 4th. Independence Day itself, Sunday afternoon, and that'll be in the Garza Center, and we'll have a wonderful show at 4 o'clock. Again, $15 a person. Those tickets will go on sale also in about 2 weeks. So those shows are lined up and already put into stone, if you will. We'll look forward to many, many more, and I hope to come out with a printed list really, really soon. You know, I thought of other things that we might want to do, and one of the things that struck me might be interesting, when we cleaned out the rectory and sold the rectory, we took out a lot of religious articles that had been stored in the rectory, that had been up in the rectory for a long, long time. I have one of them here. It's an interesting picture of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and that was in the rectory. It probably was an item that was either given or brought there by one of the priests over the years. And then I saw items around that we've had here in the church office, like rosaries. We have some very beautiful rosaries that people have given us because they have several and they can only use 1 or 2. They really don't need a variety. It occurs to me that there's probably a lot of families who have accumulated religious articles that they no longer need or they no longer are using, and would like to kind of do a regifting, a reappropriation program for them. And so what I propose is, if you have any religious articles, they might be blessed, whatever, please bring them, statues, pictures, rosaries, bring them to the church between now and the 18th of June. Between now and June 18th. What we're going to do is we're going to take them and we're going to put them up on display in the Garza Center for Father's Day weekend. That would be June 19th and 20th. And so on Father's Day after the Masses, we can take a walk over, we can view some of this religious art, and if there's anything that you want to take home with you, just pick it up. Take it home with you. If you'd like to leave a donation for the Garza Center, you may, but we'd like to make sure that these religious items find good homes where they'd be appreciated and where they'll put up many, many more years of use. And so, if you have any items that you'd like to let us share for you, please bring them before the 18th of June. And please plan on spending a little time with us on Father's Day weekend, the 19th and 20th of June. We'll go over to the Garces Center. We'll get to view all of these. And if you'd like to take something home, please, if you'd leave a little donation for the Garces Center or just take the item, you can take it right with you when you see it. And I think you'll be surprised at some of the beautiful stuff that we already have, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more coming in. We're trying to make it a good regifting program. Now, Monday of this week coming up is a national holiday, Memorial Day. Memorial Day had an interesting history. It started up after the Civil War as Decoration Day, a day on which you would go out and you would decorate, put flowers or crosses or plants on the graves of the soldiers involved in the Civil War. It gradually expanded that you would go visit the cemeteries, and after the First World War, it grew up again after the Second World War in Korea, and it was observed on the 30th of May. There are many towns that claim they're the birthplace of it, but the one that seems to have the most recognition is Waterloo, New York, where they claim that they have been observing this holiday since 1866, right after the Civil War. So whatever the history brings, it reminds us that we should remember the patriotism, the devotion, the dedication of those who gave their lives in the service of our country. The traditional date was the 30th of May, but more recent decades, the government has moved it to the last Monday in May. So this year, the celebration will be on the 31st of May, this coming Monday. And here in Laughlin, it's going to be observed on Monday, the 31st of May, at the American Legion VFW Hall on Bruce Woodbury Drive at 10 a.m. In the morning. They've kindly asked me if I would be the one to offer the opening and the closing prayer for the event, so I'll be down there for it, and I hope a lot of our people will come out to remember those who have given their lives in the military of the United States in the service to our great American nation. And of course, we'll have Mass on Monday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you'd like to start your Memorial Day with Mass, we'd love to have you here at church as well. A nice patriotic way of remembering those who have given their lives for our great American nation. Memorial Day has kind of got a mixed thing. Part of it is remembrance and remembering those who have served in our country and given their lives. But the other part of it is it's kind of the unofficial beginning of the summer season. A lot of people travel on Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people start making their summer plans. And now that COVID seems to be something receding into our past more and more, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful summer. We honor those who served in our United States Army and those who served in the United States Navy or the Air Force, those who served in the United States Marines or the Coast Guard and gave their lives. We also, in the more recent years, for the past two, we've been able to remember the Space Force, which was established in 2019 by President Donald Trump. The Space Force is our newest branch of the military service. And of course, we traditionally remember our POWs, our prisoners of war, and our MIAs, our missing in action servicemen and women over the years. So again, we invite you to the American Legion VFW post number 60 on Bruce Woodbury Drive at 10 a.m. on Monday. We also invite you to join us for Mass at 8 a.m. on Memorial Day, Monday the 31st, here at the church. We're lucky in America. We have three very patriotic holidays. In November, we observe Veterans Day, formerly called Armistice Day. We honor those who are serving or have served in our military forces. We have Memorial Day, the last Monday in May, when we honor those who gave their lives in the military services for our great American nation. And of course, we have the 4th of July honoring the birth of our great nation in 1776. So we'll look forward to always observing those days as best we can here in Laughlin. In our bulletin this weekend, I've printed several patriotic quotations. I think when we hear of things in the words of people who have lived through them, we perhaps remember them and appreciate them even more. So I've looked up a number of patriotic quotations. There's a bigger list than I'm going to read in the bulletin this week, but I'd like to read several that just made an impression on me particularly. Never throughout history has a man who lived a life of ease left a name worth remembering. Never throughout history has a man who lived a life of ease left a name worth remembering. That was by President Teddy Roosevelt over there. Certainly a man who gave great service to our nation. I may have mentioned this before, but way back, my grandmother, my father's mother, was a housekeeper for Teddy Roosevelt out in Oyster Bay, New York. She would tell sometimes stories of working there, and it was kind of nice to know that I had a connection with that great historical figure through my grandmother. Another good one that I found: those who have long enjoyed the privileges those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them. That was Franklin Delano Roosevelt during World War II. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, when I was in grade school, and in 7th grade in particular, for some reason, FDR, Franklin Roosevelt, always was someone that I just kind of admired and wanted to read more and more about. I didn't always agree with his politics, but certainly his style, and I think the fireside chats are what kind of just made me want to be like him in a way. I don't know if I've ever done a fireside chat or not, but I certainly have talked long enough over these years. Moving on in the quotes, no man is entitled to the blessings of freedom unless he is vigilant in its protection. General Douglas MacArthur said that. Again, World War II we're talking about, a great military leader. It doesn't take a hero to order men into battle. It takes a hero to be one of those men who goes into battle. That was Norman Schwarzkopf, the general during Operation Desert Storm, and that was the operation that I was involved in. So technically, for a while there, Norman Schwarzkopf was my boss in the military. I have a wonderful story about Schwarzkopf. After he was known for his language and being able to communicate very directly. Stormin' Norman, I think, was his nickname. But after the war, after the Desert Storm, when he went home and he retired from the military, and somebody interviewed him, and General Schwarzkopf, what's the biggest difference you find being out of the military now that Desert Storm is over and you've retired? And he commented, and I still remember the comment, he said, 6 months ago, he said 565,000 military personnel would have jumped at my command. Now, I can't get a plumber to come to my house. Very honest assessment, I think, of things going on. I liked his style very much. Continuing with the quotes, it is foolish and wrong. It is foolish and wrong to mourn the men who died. Rather, we should thank God that such men lived. That was another general, George Patton. Again, very direct speaker. Patriotism is not short, frenzied outbursts of emotion, but rather the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime. It was Adlai Stevenson who gave us that, a great statesman in America. A very interesting first name, Adlai. I think he's the only one in our history I ever recall having that name. My fellow Americans, Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. I don't think I even have to announce that that was President John F. Kennedy. That's probably one of the most recognizable quotes that we have, President Kennedy's quote about patriotism, serving your country. I only regret that I had but one life to lose for my country. That was Patriot Nathan Hale, the Revolutionary War hero. And I believe in New York State, there's a restaurant in Tappan, New York, which is now built over the site of the prison in which Nathan Hale was held captive during the war by the British. Patriotism is supporting your country all the time and your government when it deserves it. That's Mark Twain's quote. I've always enjoyed Mark Twain and his style of speaking. He always seems to have a way of putting things in perspective. We should read more and more of Mark Twain. A man is a patriot if he if his heart bears true to his country. A man is a patriot if his heart bears true to his country. And my final one is an unknown one. We don't know who actually said this, but it really is worth thinking about. If you want to thank a soldier, be the kind of American worth fighting for. Be the kind of American worth fighting for. And hopefully we are that kind of American. We value our freedoms, we value our rights given to us by God and continued through our American system. Time for Pascal to come and join us. And he brings down a message. And since we're doing patriotic things today, I thought pro Patria Mea, for my country, would be appropriate. Pro Patria Mea. Do we do things for our country? We should be doing them for our country, and the way we live, the way we speak, the things that we value are all important to our country. So this week, each one of us should plan, what are we doing pro Patria Mea, for my country? God bless. Have a happy Memorial Day weekend. Hope to see you at Mass on Monday the 31st, and hope to see you at the town celebration on Woodbury Drive at 10 a.m. on Memorial Day at the American Legion Post 60. God bless. Have a great weekend.